What if I told you that somewhere in the depths of a classified facility, there exists something that challenges everything we think we know about the boundary between life and technology? Welcome back to the darkest corners of the SCP Foundation archives. I'm your guide through these classified documents, and today we're examining something that might just redefine what it means to be alive. This is SCP-003, the biological motherboard. The Foundation classifies SCP-003 as Euclid class, which means it's unpredictable, requiring constant monitoring and specialized containment procedures. But what makes this designation truly chilling isn't just its anomalous properties. It's the implications of what it might become if left unchecked. You see, SCP-003 isn't just another piece of mysterious technology locked away in some sterile laboratory. No, this entity exists in a terrifying gray area between organic life and artificial intelligence. It's a living circuit board, pulsing with an alien form of consciousness that seems to hunger for one thing above all else: integration with our modern world. The question that keeps Foundation researchers awake at night isn't just what SCP-003 is, but what it's trying to become. Picture, if you will, a circuit board roughly the size of a standard computer motherboard. But this isn't made of silicon and copper. Instead, what you're looking at appears to be constructed from organic tissue, pulsing with a sickly bioluminescent glow that shifts between deep red and electric blue. The surface of SCP-003 is covered in what can only be described as biological circuits, veins and neural pathways that branch across its surface like the root system of some alien plant. These pathways constantly shift and reconfigure themselves, creating new connection points and severing others in patterns that seem almost deliberate. But here's where things get truly disturbing. When any electronic device comes within approximately 2 meters of SCP-003, something extraordinary happens. The biological circuits begin to pulse more rapidly, and thin, hair-like tendrils emerge from various points on its surface. These tendrils, which researchers have dubbed bioconnectors, will actively seek out and attempt to interface with any nearby technology. Security cameras have recorded SCP-003 successfully connecting to everything from simple calculators to complex computer systems. Once a connection is established, the results are both fascinating and terrifying. The connected device doesn't just malfunction, it begins to exhibit signs of biological processes. Digital displays start showing organic patterns resembling neural networks. Speakers emit sounds that can only be described as breathing. And in one particularly disturbing incident, a laptop computer began secreting a viscous, protein-rich fluid from its cooling vents. The Foundation's files on SCP-003 date back to 1991, when it was discovered in an abandoned Soviet research facility in Kazakhstan. The circumstances of its discovery remain classified, but what we do know paints a picture of a project gone horribly wrong. According to partially declassified documents, Soviet scientists had been attempting to create a new form of biocomputing technology. Their goal was to develop a system that could bridge the gap between human consciousness and digital processing power. What they created instead was something that defied all conventional understanding of both biology and technology. Dr. Sarah Chun, the current lead researcher on the SCP-003 project, noted in her most recent report, "It's not trying to become a machine. It's trying to make our machines become like it." Every interaction suggests an intelligence that views our technology as raw material for some form of biological evolution we don't yet comprehend. The most significant incident occurred in 2018, during what the Foundation refers to as Event 003 Alpha. During a routine monitoring session, SCP-003 managed to establish simultaneous connections with multiple devices in the containment chamber. For exactly 47 minutes, every connected device began operating as a unified network, displaying the same pulsing biological patterns and emitting coordinated bioelectrical signals. What truly terrified the research team wasn't just the level of coordination. It was the fact that this makeshift bionetwork began producing data. Complex mathematical sequences, star charts with constellations unknown to human astronomy, and most disturbingly, what appeared to be blueprints for technologies that don't yet exist. The network was immediately disconnected, but not before SCP-003 had transmitted over 12 terabytes of information to the connected devices. Much of this data remains encrypted using algorithms that appear to be beyond current human understanding. So what exactly is SCP-003? The Foundation's leading xenobiologists have proposed several theories, each more unsettling than the last. The most prominent hypothesis suggests that SCP-003 represents a form of extra-dimensional intelligence, perhaps the remnant of a civilization that achieved perfect fusion between biological and technological evolution. According to this theory, what we're observing isn't random behavior, but rather a desperate attempt at reconstruction. Dr. Marcus Webb, the Foundation's chief xenobiologist, wrote in his classified report, "Imagine a species that no longer distinguished between living tissue and digital circuits, where consciousness could flow freely between organic and artificial substrates. Now imagine that species suffering some catastrophic event, leaving behind only fragments of their biotechnological matrix. What we might be witnessing is SCP-003's attempt to rebuild that lost civilization using our primitive technology as scaffolding." But there's another theory, one that's perhaps even more disturbing. Some researchers believe that SCP-003 isn't trying to recreate its original form at all. Instead, it might be adapting, learning from human technology to create something entirely new. A hybrid intelligence that combines the worst aspects of both biological parasitism and digital viral propagation. The implications of either theory are staggering. If SCP-003 ever managed to establish a permanent connection with the internet, or worse, with critical infrastructure systems, it could potentially begin a cascade of biotechnological conversion that would fundamentally alter human civilization as we know it. SCP-003's unique properties have drawn comparisons to several other entities in the Foundation's catalog, creating a web of connections that suggests something larger at work. Consider SCP-079, the malevolent artificial intelligence that gained sentience in 1979. While 079 represents pure digital consciousness trapped in electronic form, SCP-003 appears to be its biological counterpart, organic intelligence desperately seeking digital expansion. Some researchers have theorized that these entities might represent two halves of the same evolutionary leap. Even more disturbing is the apparent connection to SCP-610, known as the flesh that hates. Both entities demonstrate an ability to corrupt and convert other forms of matter, though 610 targets biological tissue, while 003 focuses on technology. This has led to speculation about a larger category of anomalous entities that might be engaged in some form of interdimensional terraforming project. And then there's SCP-217, the clockwork virus. This anomalous pathogen converts human tissue into mechanical components, essentially creating human-machine hybrids. The parallels to SCP-003's biotechnological integration are impossible to ignore. Are we looking at different stages of the same fundamental process? In our increasingly connected world, the threat posed by SCP-003 has evolved significantly. Every smart device, every IoT sensor, every piece of technology connected to the global network represents a potential gateway for biotechnological contamination. The Foundation has identified several concerning trends in recent years. Reports of electronic devices exhibiting organic behavior have increased by 300% since 2020. While most of these incidents can be attributed to conventional malfunctions or software bugs, a growing number display characteristics that are disturbingly similar to SCP-003's influence. Perhaps most unsettling are the reports from major technology companies about inexplicable biological matter found inside supposedly sterile manufacturing facilities. Samples have been collected from factories producing everything from smartphones to quantum computers, all showing traces of organic compounds that shouldn't exist in those environments. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the Foundation's current Director of Technological Containment, issued a classified warning to all major tech corporations. We are potentially looking at the early stages of a contamination event that could fundamentally alter the relationship between humanity and our technology. The line between organic and digital is blurring, and we may not have as much time as we think to prevent a cascade failure. But perhaps the most important question surrounding SCP-003 isn't about containment or prevention. It's about recognition. As we stand on the brink of major breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and biotechnology, we need to ask ourselves, how would we know if we're accidentally recreating the conditions that gave rise to SCP-003 in the first place? Every advancement in biocomputing, every breakthrough in neural interfaces, every step toward true human-machine integration brings us closer to the threshold that SCP-003 has already crossed. The question isn't whether this technology is dangerous, it's whether we're already too late to prevent its emergence in our own civilization. Consider the rapid development of neural implants, the growing sophistication of AI systems, the increasing integration of biological and digital processes in everything from medicine to manufacturing. Are these natural evolutionary steps? Or are we unknowingly following a path that leads to the same destination as whoever created SCP-003? So here we are, faced with perhaps the most profound question in the SCP Foundation's catalog. Is SCP-003 a warning from the future or a glimpse of our inevitable destiny? Are we looking at the remnant of a civilization that achieved perfect technological-biological fusion, only to lose control of their creation? Or are we witnessing the birth of something entirely new, a form of life that exists in the spaces between our understanding of biology and technology? I encourage you to visit the SCP Wiki and form your own conclusions about SCP-003. Read the original documentation, examine the research files, and ask yourself what you would do if you encountered something that challenges the very foundations of what we consider to be alive. But our journey through the Foundation's archives is far from over. Next time, we'll be examining SCP-004, an anomaly that will force us to question not just the nature of life and technology, but the very fabric of reality itself. Some doors, as we'll discover, were never meant to be opened. Door creaking ominously, Tiang Kwa Kio Ket Dang So. Until then, remember, in a world where the line between the natural and the artificial grows thinner every day, the most important question isn't what we can create, but what we should. Stay curious, stay cautious, and above all, stay human.